That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
All right, guys, as we gear up to go to Sunday, I think we should kind of transition our discussions over from like trades and overall roster construction to now let's start talking about some of these start and sits. So I think for our first video, I'm going to try to outline 5 running backs where I think people may be overthinking it or may not necessarily understand why they should go out there and start these players in week 3. But I think they are guys that are going to be extremely appealing, whether that's for the matchup, whether that's through the opportunity that they look to project to get. Yeah, either way, I think these are 5 running backs we should be going out there and we should be trying to plug into our starting lineups. But before we get into the video, if you have a specific start sit question, I mean, feel free to ask it in the comments. Maybe someone else will be able to go down there and answer it for you. But I am very sorry, guys. I am flooded with so many questions through Twitter, through Instagram, through Discord, through YouTube, that it's probably like 300 a day at this point. So there's no way I am ever going to be able to answer all of y'all. So if you want your question answered, just guys, I mean, we are streaming Friday night, we are streaming Saturday night, we are streaming Sunday morning. So just make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. You have the little bell on so you know when we go live. And then you're going to be able to come hang out in the stream with us and ask your question and I will give you your personalized answer. But yeah, I mean, we are going to continue to do this because y'all have just showed a tremendous amount of support for this channel. Like I said in yesterday's videos, I mean, yesterday we passed 6,000 subscribers. About 10 days ago, we were at 2,000. I mean, so we have tripled our subscriber mark in like a little less than a span of 2 weeks. And it's 100% because this is the best audience on YouTube and the best fantasy football audience across any platform. I mean, y'all go down there and just absolutely kill the like button. Y'all all go out there and subscribe and leave comments. And I could not thank y'all enough. So we are going to continue to go live so I can try to answer as many of your questions as possible. But let's start with our first running back. And this guy seemed very obvious to me, but with the amount of questions that I received in last night's live stream about him, I just kind of was befuddled. I'm like, why are you even thinking about starting the other guy? And this is Joe Mixon. So I understand Joe Mixon has been extremely disappointing for where you took him in your fantasy draft so far this season. I thought, at least after the Cincinnati Bengals went out there and signed him to that new contract, that Zach Taylor in this offense were really going to look to use Joe Mixon as a 3-down running back. But really, we have not seen that through 2 weeks. It looks like they are continuing to use Giovanni Bernard as their pass-catching running back and kind of just prototyping Joe Mixon as a 1-2 down grinder. And this makes no sense for me because if y'all remember way back in 2017 when Joe Mixon came into the NFL, I mean, he played at Oklahoma and he's actually split the backfield with Samaje Perine, former Washington football team running back. I don't know how long y'all been paying attention to fantasy football, but I mean, I've been deep diving ever since 2014. And anyway, Joe Mixon, the scouting report on him coming into the NFL in 2017 was that he was actually an elite level athlete and an elite level pass catching running back. And very similar to Josh Jacobs coming into the NFL, where his rookie year, he was not used as a pass-catching running back, even though that's what we thought he was being drafted to be. And then we see Josh Jacobs going into year 2, kind of transition to be more that kind of running back. But with Joe Mixon, it has absolutely never happened. I mean, he is playing a completely different role than what we projected in the NFL. And every year we convince ourselves, okay, this is the year that Joe Mixon is going to be used as a 3-down running back. We are going to stop seeing him put into this grinder role where we know he can actually go out there and excel. But I mean, guys, regardless, I think Joe Mixon going up against the Philadelphia Eagles in week 3, now that the Eagles have lost Jalen Reagor for a good amount of time, their offensive line isn't necessarily 100% healthy again. I think that we see this game be a lot more competitive than most people want to believe. And in a competitive game where maybe Joe Burrow in this offense can actually get up to a lead, I think Joe Mixon has the potential to go out there and see 20 carries. And if he sees 20 carries, I think it's very easy to project him to get at least a touchdown, possibly even 2. So I like the matchup here for Joe Mixon, and I'm just going to continue. I know, it's been a losing strategy every year of his career. But coming from someone who's goes to the University of Texas, and I mean, the last thing I want to do is be talking up an Oklahoma Sooner running back. But I mean, that's what I have to do. I mean, Joe Mixon is looking like a guy that if we can see his talent be unleashed in Cincinnati, if we see that Joe Burrow in this offense gets up on the Philadelphia Eagles in week 3, I mean, Joe Mixon looks like he can be in running back 1. And the questions I've been hearing about him, I mean, are just kind of laughable. So guys, don't overthink it. If you drafted Joe Mixon, I understand he has been disappointing, but still, you have to go out there and play him at this point. Okay, our next running back is going to be one of the priority running backs I try to get y'all to go out there and trade for this week is Antonio Gibson. So Antonio Gibson is actually going up against the Cleveland Browns. And in week 2, how we saw his usage spike, I think that going into your week 3, we can continue to expect that Antonio Gibson is going to lead this backfield in carries and targets. And if that is happening against a Cleveland Browns defense, which has a ton of talent, I mean, they have decent playmakers on this defense. They just can't put it together. I don't know if we see this with the Cleveland Browns every year because it's a locker room thing, it's a culture thing. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is I'm out here trying to evaluate the players that are going to be able to go and score fantasy points, and that looks to be Antonio Gibson. So even if his volume doesn't increase from week 2 to week 3, which I don't see any reason why it would not, I still expect Antonio Gibson. I mean, he's leading the NFL in the percentage of broken tackles through, I believe, all running backs that have had at least 20 carries. I mean, he is looking like he's just going to be a dynamic athlete, and with the touches he receives, he's going to be able to be productive. And if he can take a step up in this offense and get just a smaller percentage of the overall pie, I think Antonio Gibson could be a running back 2 going up against the Cleveland Browns, where most people don't have him valued anywhere near there. Okay, now the smash plays of the week. I mean, Austin Ekeler, I did not tell you all to go out there and draft him. I mean, I did not want Austin Ekeler on my fantasy team. But, I mean, regardless, both of the running backs in this Los Angeles Chargers backfield and Austin Ekeler and Joshua Kelly look like they are going to be complete smash plays. I mean, we've been saying this every single week this entire season. I mean, week 1, I was telling y'all to go out there and play Darren Waller, Henry Ruggs, and Josh Jacobs just anywhere you could because we knew this Carolina Panthers defense was going to be a bottom 3 defense in the NFL. And after what we've seen go on the first 2 weeks, I think we can confidently say that this Carolina Panthers defense is the worst defense in the NFL, and I am trying to get as many of these Los Angeles Chargers players as I can in my lineup. Obviously, not all of them are going to be able to hit unless the Chargers are going to go out there and put up 48 points, which I don't think anybody can reasonably project. But with Justin Herbert coming in and taking over the quarterback position, we already saw in week 2. I mean, yes, Justin Herbert is very dynamic running the ball, but he is not the same kind of quarterback as Tyrod Taylor, where Tyrod Taylor is never going to look to check it down. He's going to look downfield, and if that's not open, he's going to run. And that's the last thing you want for your running backs. That's why I had no Austin Ekeler coming into the season. But now with Justin Herbert coming in, I am willing to kind of change my mind a little bit. I think we could see more targets going to the running back position. And with this Carolina Panthers defense, which is the youngest defense in the NFL, I think that we can easily project Joshua Kelly and Austin Ekeler both to have touchdown upside. I think Austin Ekeler has the better potential to break off a long play or two, which is really going to spike his week. But I mean, we see Joshua Kelly also getting work on the goal line. So this is one rare instance where I think you can actually go out there and either guy you have, plug them in your starting lineup because it is the best matchup they are ever going to have the entire year. And they have a quarterback upgrade, which should rise all boats in the offense, while that quarterback also looks to dump the ball off more to the running back position. So everything about week 3 looks fantastic for both Joshua Kelly and Austin Ekeler. Now, the last running back that we are going to talk about is another guy that I did not necessarily go out there and draft a ton in 2020. I mean, someone that I did not advise y'all going out there to draft in 2020. I actually told y'all to sell him before the season started, but this is David Montgomery. So the reason that we are going to go out there and we are going to try to start David Montgomery where we can, I don't necessarily expect him to have a ton of rushing upside in this game against the Atlanta Falcons, but we know year over year, I mean, back in 2018, back in 2019, look at the percentage of targets that are going to the running back position with their opposing defense. I mean, it is through the roof, and we were kind of speculating that the Atlanta Falcons were going to change their scheme up a little bit, try to make this not be their weak point of the offense in 2020. But regardless, I mean, through 2 weeks, it looks like they are still just allowing so many dump-off passes to the running backs. I think that we see that David Montgomery does have the upside to go out there and put up a decent fantasy game. So yeah, go get David Montgomery in your starting lineup, even though this is probably going to be the only week I ever tell you this. And yeah, I mean, that's it for the video. I really hope that y'all enjoyed it. I really hope y'all got something from it. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be live streaming Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning to try to answer as many of your questions as I possibly can. So guys, just please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You have the bell on next to the subscription. Then you're going to be notified when I go live, and you can be one of the first people in the live stream. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for y'all, and I really hope y'all have a great day, and I wish you the best in week 3.